Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm going to have to calm down because I'm completely full of anxiety. I'm completely stressed. I would have to say that has probably been the most stressful 25 minutes of watching Arsenal I've known for a very long time. But everybody, welcome to the show. First of all, let me welcome back Graham. Graham, welcome back to the same old Arsenal. Same old Arsenal. See what I mean, right? I'm calming. The Always Arsenal show on the same old Arsenal channel.
Thanks, Amanda. It's great to be back. Nice to see you again, and nice to come back on after a good win.
Oh God, this is my third post-game show and my third win. Yeah, I know. I honestly didn't think, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Right. Now we've got a new one to the show. Welcome, Paul. Welcome to the Always Arsenal show. It's so lovely you've joined us. Really appreciate you giving up your time, especially after that performance.
No, don't be silly. No, it's appreciate you inviting me on. Yeah. Good result to talk about as well.
I love doing these shows when we've won, and normally Albert's with me, but Albert couldn't make it today. He would have been on as well with all of you, but he's had to work. So big shout out to Albert. I'm trying to calm down. I don't know about you two, but I'm trying to get my head together because I honestly thought before the game, and I have to be honest, I thought we weren't going to win. I didn't predict it. I didn't say anything. I just said to my other half, I don't think we're going to have enough petrol in the tank. I'm just not sure, how we're going to produce the football we did of the first half on Wednesday night, again, Saturday morning. So let me ask you, Paul, when the team came out, what was your first thoughts?
I saw a tweet a bit earlier on, about an hour before the kickoff was announced, saying that Ramsdale might not be in the squad, and my heart sank a little bit when I read that. And then obviously the lineup got announced, and yeah, when I saw the two changes that he made in Ramsdale and Martinelli obviously not being well either, I predicted 1-1 anyway. I knew it would be a really tough game. And then having to, especially Ramsdale, because he's had such an impact since he's come into the team, and not just in his position, behind the scenes as well. But yeah, missing Gabby as well, I thought would be a huge miss, because he was unreal against Liverpool. So I kind of cemented my thoughts. If we got a 1-0, actually, that might be not too bad a result. But it was a nervy game, wasn't it? Certainly towards the end. But the lineup didn't help my confidence, I must admit. But Leno did what he had to do, and I thought the other boys were superb as well, all of them.
We'll go through that in a moment. There's a slight echo, Graham. Have you got any speakers or anything near? Has anyone got any speakers near a computer?
No, not me.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, let's just continue. So the lineup comes out, Graham. We're all a little bit amazed that Martinelli's not in the squad. Found out later on that he was ill, so we wish him better, obviously. ESR comes in for him, and then obviously we've got Leno for Ramsdale. To be honest, when it came out, I wasn't too disappointed. I like Leno, got no issues with him. So I wasn't too concerned. The bulk of the team obviously was the same as Wednesday night and the same of what we've seen. Nice to see our boy ESR get a start. But did you feel that we had a chance today? Was you as negative as me or not?
I wouldn't say that, Amanda. I think, first of all, if you're going to replace two players in this Arsenal team, they were the two places that probably could afford to replace, because the two people that come in, Smith Rowe, some people were saying he should have game time anyway. So as brilliant as Martinelli has been, I didn't think that would weaken us significantly. Leno still is a top goalkeeper. Obviously, his kicking, his distribution is not the levels of Ramsdale, but he's still a top keeper. So wasn't too worried about that. I wasn't too worried about the game. What I think it was today was more a case of we'd lost on Wednesday night, so we couldn't afford to lose today. So that was, I think, what we were all feeling going into this game. I think Wednesday night was a significant night for the team in defeat, Amanda, because I thought that the team played so well on that night. And I think Mikel on his post-match press conference summed it up perfectly. We were better between the boxes. We just made errors and they took their chances. And it was summed up for me on Wednesday night by two big things. The Ramsdale making an error down one end, as great as he's been, it was an error. And then that came straight after Alisson made an unbelievable save to deny Odegaard. And there was another instance in that game, I thought, where Martinelli, who was brilliant in the game, went on one of his mazy dribbles, got into an area. If we'd got a player across the front post like Lacazette or somebody who made a run, they would have tucked that away. We didn't have that. Yet Liverpool had, when they got their chance, Firmino going across the front post to score. These are sort of like small margins in a game. But what we saw today, I thought, was the players, even under pressure, still able to maintain the performance that they played on Wednesday night. The triangles, the pass and move. This team is so well coached by Arteta, Amanda, and I think we were brilliant in that first half. We deserved to be more than one goal up. Our football was absolutely, they couldn't touch us. They literally couldn't touch us first half. The way that we suffocated them when we pressed from the front, the way we played out was perfect round their front three. We stopped their key players being in the game, got the goal. We knew they'd be better in the second half, and when we had to be, Amanda, we defended the penalty box really well. So I think we were always going to be nervous, because when you're only 1-0 up, we deserve to be more than 1-0 up. When you're only 1-0 up, Amanda, there's always going to be a chance they could equalise. But I thought overall we were worth 3 points, probably worth more than 1-0. But it seems like a big result, I would say, in the context that we didn't get the result on Wednesday night.
Absolutely. And Paul, I was just going to touch on that. I don't want to talk about Liverpool too much, so let's talk about this game. But the first half against Liverpool, first of all, I don't know if either of you were at the game on Wednesday night, but the first half, the atmosphere was incredible at the Emirates. We knew it would be. But we also know, and we're not idiots as fans, that Liverpool are a cut above us. There is no doubt about that. But first half, we definitely matched them. And actually, I think we played a little bit better. Second half, they literally turned up a gear and bang, it was 2-0. Okay, we did make a mistake. Odegaard didn't score from what we hoped he would. You've got to take your chances against the big clubs. You've just got to take your chances, full stop. But my fear was going into today was the normal, 3 days later, not much rest, early kickoff Arsenal of old. Yep. We'd start slow. We'd be sitting there going, if we turned up, what's going on? Oh my God, we're going to, that sort of, and it was completely the opposite. What Graham has said, we totally outplayed them. If we'd have got that extra goal today, it would have been made the match more comfortable to watch, obviously, but we didn't. But we've got 3 points away from home after a loss, and it does show that Mikel Arteta is breeding a winning. What's that word? Mindset. I can't think of my words. I'm so stressed. I can't believe we've actually won. So did you thought it was going to be a draw? So let's just go through the match a little bit, Paul, because I've written some notes down of times and stuff. One of the things I noticed was our first chance. I felt Odegaard should have had the shot instead of passing it. Do you remember that about 15 minutes in?
Yeah, it fell on his right foot, though, didn't it?
Yeah. Oh, is that why? I want him to be a little bit more selfish, because I think, he's going to score some amazing goals for us.
Yeah.
But generally, let's just go through the first half. The goal was just beautiful from our boy Saka, wasn't it? Fully deserved. Just talk to us about the build up to the goal and how you felt and everything.
I think it all stems, and I mean the set piece coach that we've obviously got in has done some amazing work both defensively and offensively, because not only do we look solid defending corners and set pieces, but we look so dangerous from set pieces attacking it. And I genuinely can't remember the last time I said that. The amount of times that we've had corners, it's just like, well, what's the point? We might as well just let them have a goal kick and just restart the game and get on with it. But we really do look dangerous. And with Saka's goal, you need a little bit of luck for it to fall to him to obviously have the strike. But we kept it alive. Everybody was winning their duels in the box and keeping it alive. And Saka's so quick at adjusting his body to getting shots away. And yeah, I mean, Emmy, it was through 5 or 6 bodies, wasn't it? It was always going to be difficult for him to see the strike. But yeah, I mean, what can we say about Saka that hasn't already been said? He's been absolutely phenomenal this season, as have a lot of the other kids. But yeah, I think we just did well keeping that momentum and keeping it alive in the box, and we got that little bit of luck. It came to him, and he managed to put it away.
With regards to Saka, young player of the year for you?
For Arsenal or Premier League?
Premier League.
I can't think of anyone that's been better than him. I can't. And if I was to pick one, the only other one I'd say is Smith Rowe, because I think Smith Rowe would have been right in the argument had he not had. Obviously, he's had a bit of time out the team and trying to work his way back into the starting 11. But yeah, I mean, Saka's got to be Young Player of the Year. I can't even. I mean, I love Phil Foden. I think he's a phenomenal footballer. But he's been nowhere near as consistent as Saka has this season.
I mean, the fact is that we're not biased.
No.
But what a player Saka is. Graham, would he be for you?
What, the player of the season?
Yeah.
What, for Arsenal or overall?
Overall, Graham. Young player of the season.
Oh, young player of the season.
Yeah.
Definitely young player of the season. Yeah. I think these awards tend to go to teams that win the trophies at the end of the season. So but in terms of his individual performances this year in games, yeah, he's been absolutely the key man. You can see how good he is now that teams literally just queue up to rotate. They literally rotate to foul him during the game every time he gets the ball. The way he sort of like glides with the ball at his feet, the one touch, the partnership with Odegaard, which has been brilliant over the last few weeks, was evident again today. I just think he's at a different level, and I think he needs to be seriously protected by referees, because I think he's not only the future of England, of Arsenal, he's the future of England. And I think he's that good. And he's only 20. We forget that he's only 20. I thought today in the game, just looking back at that goal, he was obviously. One thing about him also is he understands positions so well. And I know he's coached by Arteta, but normally he's on that right-hand side. And in that first half, Amanda, we worked some great situations. They were allowing us to have 3v2s in wide areas. And Ashley Young wasn't getting much protection. And Saka was running in, really had him on toast. And that goal came, he drifted more centrally. And I think it was Cedric who got the cross in from the right-hand side, gets knocked back. There's a header and it comes back to him, but he adjusts his feet and gets the shot away. And I think his goal output away from home now is pretty high. Him and Smith Rowe are now, I think, our top goal scorers for the season. Obviously, someone will correct me on that if I'm wrong. Certainly he's up there close to Smith Rowe now. But away from home, he's particularly good. And that's always a good test for a player away from home. I would say, in answer to your question, definitely Young Player of the Year. Off the top of my head, I must admit, normally there's been some great performances and some great players with great performances throughout the season in those two top teams, Liverpool and Man City. So I think it's very hard for me to judge it. But certainly for Arsenal, he's our best player. And I certainly think he's definitely Young Player of the Year. It's hard to judge players, isn't it? And I think there's still a bit of the season to go. But what I will say is a wonderful talent, and he's going to get better. And the important thing for me now is getting this Champions League spot, Amanda, so we then can build bodies around him for next season. You know, sort of like, I don't know if you looked at the Liverpool game on they were a very physical team, Liverpool, as well as a good technical team. They've got a lot of very physical, strong players, and I think we need that in the team. Partey's one we've got, for example, but we just need upgrades in certain areas to get the right players around him that will make him even better. But he is carrying this team at times and on young shoulders.
But do you know what the one word about him, Graham and Paul, is definitely consistency.
Yeah.
Every single match. He may have a quiet match occasion, very rarely. He's always involved. He's always up for it. He's always there. I just want to talk about the tackle on him by Mings. Now, I personally think it was a red card. My other half doesn't. He says it's not. It was on the floor. He kicked the ball first and, you know, his foot just followed through. Paul, red or not for you?
No, I agreed with what the referee did, actually. I thought it was a yellow. I thought he obviously followed through and he obviously caught him because you could see blood on the back of his sock almost immediately. But, I think by the letter of the law, he was on the ground and he did get the ball first. But, so I thought a yellow card was fair in that instance. But, I mean, it wasn't the only one. He was getting kicked all over the place today.
Oh, God.
And it was it's never nice to see because we always, I mean, I love Jack Wilshere and still do to this day. And just seeing some of the tackles that he he collected as well, and some of it he obviously did to himself, but by throwing himself into silly tackles. But it's almost that kind of feeling, is you don't want players like Saka getting knocks and getting injuries because of what happened with Wilshere, and you do have to protect him. But yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that Graham said. He's such a phenomenal player, and he's just going to get better. And what I like about him is he's got a lot stronger this season on the ball. It's very, very difficult to push him off the ball at the moment. And mentally, to come back from what he did in the summer, and obviously the situation with England, to come off the back of that at 20 years old and have the season that he's had, I mean, that just tells you everything you need to know about it. The boy himself. He's just, I can't speak highly enough of him, like all of us. So,
well, that's why it's really. Oh, sorry, I don't know what that was. That's a really bad echo from my side. Sorry. It's a really good point in there that refs should be protecting him a little bit more. But so he goes in, he gets the yellow. Then there's all this like handbags at dawn stuff, and Lacazette's thrown to the floor. Now, can I just say that first of all, most people are saying it's not a red. I have to say most people are. But if this was Xhaka, and I'll say this again, he would be off, wouldn't he? Would he, Graham? Do you think Xhaka would be off for that?
One thing I will say, Amanda, is that Xhaka got booked for absolutely nothing. I think the referee said that was his third foul and booked him. It wasn't even his third foul. There was a stat at half time that was almost like his first foul. So the referee got that wrong.
On when he got booked, I'm not sure everyone saw, but he did a nasty little kick on the ankle, just slightly, just after. And I think that was one of the reasons the player reacted. I think it was, I think there was a couple, but
I do think
he's going to get booked.
Yeah,
he's going to get booked.
I think there's an argument to say that had it been Xhaka, it might have been looked at differently, because you only have to look at the way Xhaka's treated generally. He commits the same sort of offence. It's because it's Granit Xhaka. It sways referees to make decisions. Just quickly give you some, Amanda, before we talk about it. But I got Bukayo Saka's numbers in this Villa game, right? Just shows how impressive he was. 49 touches, 11 touches in the opposition box, 4 duels won, 4 crosses, 3 shots, 3 fouls won, 2 chances created, 1 tackle, 1 shot on goal, 1 goal. So that his numbers were really good in this game. And I've just got one more while I've got it on my phone for you, who basically was, I thought, key in this game for us. We had a really good game, which went under the radar on BT Sport, was Thomas Partey. I thought he was absolutely brilliant in our midfield today. His numbers today: 88% pass accuracy, 58 touches, 9 possession won, 9 final third entries, passes, 5 duels won, 3 take-ons attempted, 2 take-ons completed, 2 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 chance created, 1 shot on target. Now, so just coming back to Xhaka, I think you were right, Amanda. Had it been a Xhaka with that challenge, I think possibly it might have swayed the ref's decision in those sort of situations. And he is definitely refereed differently. We've had this debate before, actually, on saying about Arsenal, that I think we've seen this season that Arsenal players are refereed differently. I'm not saying they shouldn't get red cards. Some of them should get red cards, but we've seen players from other clubs don't get red cards. When I watch teams, other matches, I don't expect players to get red cards for incidents that our players get red cards for. And I think Granit Xhaka is a prime example of that, Amanda. He is somebody who referees just can't wait to get the card out for. It's almost like they're just waiting to give him a yellow and a red. So I thought he was unlucky with his yellow today. In answer to your question, had he slid through like that on a player, I think the referee would have been considering it very strongly. And I think I wouldn't have been surprised if he got the red card. But, you know, I think Xhaka's role now in the change in the team now, he's playing as a left-sided number 8, Amanda, is meaning that he's probably a lot of the time not in those positions where he has to make that sort of tackles, which in a way is helping him on the pitch. I think that's a good thing Mikel's done there by moving him high up the pitch. I know he sometimes gets back on that left-hand side and defends with a 2 with Partey out of possession. But a lot of the time he's in positions in the pitch now where he's not under stress on the pitch. So he doesn't have to do anything where the referee needs to make a decision. Yeah. So in answer to your question, had he made that tackle, I think we would have been fearing the worst, wouldn't we?
Absolutely. So I just want to thank everyone for all your fantastic comments. I will get to them soon. Thank you for joining us on the post game. Always Arsenal show. This is my 3rd one hosting a post game and 3rd time we've won. I don't know if I was more stressed watching that game to the end or knowing I've got to do a show after, but thank you all for joining. I really appreciate it because, as Graham knows, since day one, and it's only been a couple of months I've done this, I'm still very nervous at hosting all this, but
you're doing really well, Amanda. And also, the thing I like about your shows now, you've got such a variety of guests, and you're so. I said you're almost like Arsenal royalty because you're getting all from Alan Smith to film producers to KC. You know, you're getting plenty of variety for the subscribers of Same Old Arsenal. So fair play to you, and you've taken to it really well, I think.
Thank you, but
Absolutely.
I also just like normal gooners. That's really what the show's all
and
about.
And your dad, the one with your dad was brilliant, I thought.
My dad's coming back with Melvin and a couple of others because I think the old times it's just so fascinating for a lot of the young Arsenal supporters. And to be honest, I didn't even know half the stories my dad said, and I couldn't believe it when he was talking about certain things. But thank you for that, Graham. And you know, focusing on that next week, I have got a really special, really good guest coming on next Thursday night as well, and I'll talk about that at the end of the show. But I just want to say thanks for everyone and all your comments, and we will get to it. So okay, we go 1-0 up. We come into the second half. We completely, as far as I'm concerned, run the first half. Villa didn't really look anything. I don't think their first proper shot was 60, 70 minutes. You know, they bring their subs on. We bring all our subs on. And I just want to talk about that. So the first sub that came on was it Pepe? Yeah, it was Pepe. Yeah. I really want it to work for Pepe, Paul. I really do. I think he's got something, whether it's enough or not. You know, I've defended him for quite a few years. What do you think? Where do you think his best position is on the pitch?
I think it is right wing. I think that's his best position, being able to cut in and either put the ball into the box or get a shot away. But he's a very frustrating player because you see glimpses of him and he's just an absolute world beater. I mean, technically, you can't ask any more of him. He's so skillful. He can beat players, but he's just not consistent enough. You can see that when he comes on, he tries to do the hard graft now that Mikel obviously asks of all the players in terms of tracking back. And but again, I think it was Pepe that gave away that silly free kick right at the end, wasn't it? I think that we were worried about. Was it Pepe?
Yes, in the 93rd minute. With 93rd minute and 50 seconds.
Yeah, and you just think it's situations like that. You just think it's just frustrating. You just don't do that so close. I mean, the player wasn't going anywhere, so there was no need for him to do that. But I don't see a longer term future at Arsenal if I'm honest for him. I just don't think what he brings to the team is consistent enough.
Shame, isn't it? He's got so much talent.
It is such a shame because he's so dangerous when he wants to be, and when you see him cut inside and he'll stick a shot straight in the top corner, you just think it's so frustrating because why can't you do that more often? But listen, Mikel, he doesn't get a lot of minutes. He did have a good African Cup of Nations. He hasn't really played a lot since he came back.
So we've had a couple of comments, Paul. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all right.
I think it's my end that might be a little bit echoey. I do apologise. Okay, Melvin said today he is a liability defensively, and Darth Vader has a good point. Pepe is great when he has a run in the team. He doesn't look like a player who can dip in and out. Yeah, Paul, I think that's part of. I do as well. Graham, what's your take on Pepe?
Yeah, I think that Darth Vader actually pretty good there. I would say that it's hard for him to come on because I don't think he feels like part of the team at the moment. I think that he had a really good performance that turned the game around against Wolves at the Emirates. We were there for that, weren't we? So we saw that. So on that night, he was really good, and he definitely turned the game around for the team. But on that game, we were attacking to get back in the game. When he's got to come on at 1-0, he's coming on to do a job. And today, as Darth Vader said, it was more defensively because we were in control of the game at 1-0, trying to do what Mikel loves to do, just pass the ball around, pass, keep the ball, move, pass and move, keep them away from our goal. Because they spent the first half trying to kick their way to a win, and obviously we'd taken the lead. But second half, they were always going to look to pump balls in the box. What we needed from Pepe in that second half was an outlet, someone who could hold the ball up and buy us time to get up the pitch and keep possession. And I don't think he could do that today. And I think defensively, he was rash for some of his challenges. He made challenges he didn't need to. So defensively, yeah, he was poor today. But what I would defend him in is it's hard to come on in a game with every time you're coming on 15, 20 minutes, you're chasing the game or you've got to defend the lead. He's got a job to do. So probably he was playing in a structure today, were asked to do the job by Mikel, where he wasn't going to, a bit like Nketiah when he comes on, it's almost like he's just doing a job. He's not the main man. So, and I think that might be hard for Pepe to take. He's a £72 million player who basically wants to be the main man, I think. And he's lost that right hand side to Saka. So, and I don't see where else he's going to fit into the team. We've talked about ways of trying to get him in the team, Amanda, but he's not part of the first 11 now, is he?
No, I don't think he fits.
So it's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult for him.
Don't think he fits what Arteta wants. It's a shame.
No, that's right. Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah. I think I've always supported him, but something that we're moving on to next is what Melvin's just said. Some of our players were too selfish in front of goal in the second half. And the one thing I wanted to talk about was 74 minutes. See, as you can see, I wrote this down. Laka took a shot, do you remember? And Odegaard was free. Now, I was screaming literally 3-4 seconds of that. Pass it, Odegaard. Probably massive chance. Probably, look, we don't know if it had scored, but it would have been a good chance, more than Lacazette had. Paul, isn't it a shame that he was? I do agree with what Melvin's saying. You know, sometimes you want them to shoot first time. You want them to take the shot, and the second time you want them to think, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, there's situations where a player will take a shot when there is a pass on, but you think you can justify why he's taking the shot. In this particular incident, I think Laka knows straight away he should have obviously passed it to Odegaard. He was literally clean through one on goal. Like you say, we don't know whether Odegaard would have scored, but I think he would have had a better chance than Laka did. But I guess what I will say is Laka's obviously trying to get himself back into not form, because I actually think he's playing really well at the moment. He's integral. Yeah, he's an integral part of the team and what we're trying to do. But he wants to get himself back in and amongst the goals, and obviously we didn't get anything against Liverpool, but he got the penalty in the game before, and he's obviously trying to get himself back in. So I guess, listen, strikers are always selfish, and that's why they're goal scorers. But yeah, in that particular incident, I think it was if he'd have had that opportunity again, I think 9 times out of 10 he would have played that pass. But yeah, frustrating, because that would have been the game over. That for sure, we could have relaxed for the last 15 minutes, I think.
So Graham, then he takes off Eddie, takes off Laka and brings off on Eddie. And I said to my other half, what does Eddie actually bring to this team? Is there anything, Graham, that you can see? And I really don't like slagging players off, but I'm just curious what Arteta thinks he brings to this team.
I just think it's a like-for-like substitution, Amanda. You had that one instance in the game where he literally just slipped. It was almost like did you see that when he slipped when the ball was played through to him? He just fell over in the box, didn't he? So
sort of injured himself.
I just think he didn't make much of an impression today. I think he just gets on to give Laka a rest and basically just asked him to play a very similar role to what Laka does. Sometimes he has varied at home when we've been chasing a goal and he's gone with 2 forwards up front like he did against Wolves, but generally he's just literally covering for Laka, giving Laka rest. I think Laka's role in this team is really to occupy the centre halves, Amanda, and to bring them out the middle to create the space in behind for Saka, Martinelli or Smith-Rowe. That's his role in the team. But that moment was poor decision making. I mean, I was like you, screaming at the television, just laying Odegaard. I think the other criticism we have of Laka, funny enough, is he doesn't shoot enough when he's in the box. That's the strange thing about him.
I know.
Basically, when he's in the box, he doesn't shoot enough. Yet when he's outside the box, when it should be making a pass, he's almost like he's shooting out of frustration because, you know, he's not getting enough shots off. But he's choosing to shoot from positions where he's not likely to score. When he's in a position where you think he can have a shot and score, he doesn't shoot. So it's a strange thing about him, isn't it? So. Yeah, but I think with Nketiah, I think he's a bit like Pepe. I don't think he knows he's not part of the group. Well, he's part of the group, don't get me wrong, but he knows he's not first choice. And it's almost like he's coming to the end of his contract. He's literally just filling in for Laka when Laka wants to bring Laka off for 10, 15 minutes, either hold a game or basically if we've got to chase a game. He's not he probably doesn't feel part of it. And to be honest with you, I think there is a togetherness in the group still that you can see it in the way they celebrate big wins. So I'm not saying he doesn't feel that togetherness of the group, but I think it must be frustrating if you know you're never going to get in that first 11, which he knows. For all what Arteta said about Eddie at the start of the season, that he trusted him, he rated him, he's never picked him, has he? So, and I come back to early in the season when he had those big moments. Had he taken that chance against Everton, open goal, header. Had he taken that chance in the FA Cup at Nottingham Forest, open goal, header.
Yeah,
we might be having a different conversation. But I think that he's only scored something like 5 goals for Arsenal in about 50 odd appearances. Hasn't scored in the Premier League this season. So, you know, I probably lacks confidence, to be honest. But him and Pepe now. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, it's just what Daniel Shaw said. I call him Nketiah, it's Nketiah, isn't it? Nketiah just runs around aimlessly. I feel bad but you say that, Graham, he's got to work himself back into the team. You know, there are players that you think, you know, a manager doesn't fancy, then work your socks off. I don't know what he does. I don't know anything that goes on behind the scenes, obviously, but he just doesn't bring us anything when he comes on, does he?
No. But again, he's only getting a few minutes, isn't he? He's only getting 10, 15 minutes. So it's hard for him to really make an impression. And often he's probably playing under instruction. I just want you to do this, do that. You know, so it's not as if he's going to have the opportunity to express himself in the way he might like. But I just don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's Arsenal quality. And you know, he had a fantastic junior career and he was highly regarded when he came through the ranks into the Arsenal team. He didn't make a bad start, but I just don't think it's happened to him for Arsenal. He needs a new challenge, Amanda. And the other thing about, you know, do something, he's running out of games. The season's coming to an end, isn't it? So he's running out of games to make that impression now. And I think he'd just see out his contract and go in the summer.
Well, Christian Selesky, thank you for your comment. Thank you for joining us. I would have loved to see Omari Hutchinson introduced to the game, or either Tavares could have been a threat going forward. I think you probably will now. So I think he's going to, I hope, because I don't think Eddie brings us anything.
Just a quick comment on Nketiah. I think it's a bit of a weird one because Mikel's been so ruthless over the last 12 months of getting rid of players that are clearly either not buying into the project or are not good enough. And he's been absolutely adamant all the way through this that he wanted to keep Nketiah. We've had offers come in for him that you think. So he obviously sees something in him that he's either not showing on the pitch when he does get his opportunities, albeit they are very, very short opportunities. But Mikel seems very adamant that he wants him to stick around and stay. So he must be seeing something. But yeah, what he's bringing to the side at the moment is not good enough at all.
No, it's true. And also what Jamin Williams has said, ESR's been coming on for 10, 15 minutes and he makes a difference.
He does, yeah.
And that's massive. Sorry, Graham, 1 second. Go on.
Yeah, sorry.
It's true, though, isn't it? That is very true. And that's what I'm saying. You've just got to fight for your place. But then, okay, so the third sub comes on, which I always love because I'm defensively minded because I'm a warrior. So Holding comes on. And as he said to the screen, didn't he? Went 5-2-3 like that. And I know it sounds nothing, and it's a tiny small thing, but to actually see that is to know that Arteta, and I will say this again, and I said this on Twitter before, he kicks every ball with us. He kicks every ball, takes every throw in, doesn't he? Goes in for every tackle. And that's what your manager wants, running up and down the box and coming out the box and being told off and everything. So it brings on Holding. I'm just going to have a look at the time. It was about 85 minutes for Ødegaard. Right thing to do, Graham, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's got a new nickname at Arsenal, and it's low block Holding. So basically, we got when he comes on, it's always we're going to go to that low block, and we know. But the reason he does that is because basically he knows that Villa are going to throw a load of box crosses into our box, and as he wants someone in there to head them out, and that's Holding's strength, isn't it? When teams are literally going at the pump just to whip crosses into the box because they can't open us up, Holding's brilliant at doing that, and that's why he comes on. So. So he did go. They obviously Ings come on at the end, so they had an extra man in the box. So he put on Holding to counter that. Just coming back to just to round up quickly, Amanda on Nketiah. The reason why he can't get a start, he can't do what Lacazette does. He hasn't got the intelligence or the physicality to drop into midfield and to build the play. That's what Lacazette offers, and that's why he can't get into the team. because we'd have to change the way we play to play Nketiah. The only way you can play Nketiah is in one of the wide areas, but we've got players better than him in those areas. So he's only going to really get a chance if everybody else is injured. So it boils down to the fact he hasn't got the quality to dislodge the players in the team, I'm afraid.
No, absolutely. And it's funny because I'm just reading this from over and over and over again, the Arsenal podcast. Thank you for joining us. Arteta brings on the same subs every game, whatever the situation. He only trusts 14 players. I feel it's a little bit unfair. He may bring the same subs on, but I feel like he's bringing on the right subs. Paul, do you agree or disagree with that comment?
Yeah, to a certain degree. I think he does bring on the same subs because it works. You know, he's got a very clear game plan of what he needs to do. And just touching on Rob Holding quickly, he gets a lot of stick from certain Arsenal fans, and I think a lot of it is very unfair. I know he struggles when he's in a two. Let's face it, he's not quick enough. He's not overly agile, so it's easy to turn him. He's not great when you're running at him, but if you put him in that three, I think he's superb. And I mean, we've all seen games this season where he's come on and been part of that back three, back five. I think he's been absolutely superb, and he doesn't throw his toys out the pram. He doesn't kick off because he's not in the team every week. He comes in, and it's the opposite of Pepe. He just comes in, he just does his job. He just comes on, he does what the manager asks of him, and we get the points because of it. So I like Rob Holding quite a lot, and I'd quite like to see him stick around. Albeit he probably will look for another opportunity to play first team football. But I disagree with Rich's comment a little bit. I think he just brings on those players because that is what is required. I don't think it's necessary because he doesn't trust the other players.
No, that's fair enough. I'm just going to bring another comment in. Thank you, Richard, for your comment. Graham, I'm going to come to you with this one. Laka needs to stay. He may not start week in, week out, but he's essential to the team. The thing is, he is starting week in, week out. He is essential to the team. And I've said this on other podcasts that I was a guest on, that for me, he needs to have an extension of a year, definitely. But Graham, what's your take on that?
My take on that will be that he brings experience to the group. That's one of the reasons why giving him a year's extension would be a good thing, because but we know, for example, that we're going to go out and buy a forward in the summer, so he won't be first choice next year. We know that in January, Mikel wanted to get Vlahovic. That was our target. So we are looking for a top quality striker. We might be looking for two strikers in the summer. The question is, you have to ask what Lacazette's going to do when they do that. For example, he's obviously got to think about himself and his family. If he stays, it'll be on reduced wages and for 1 year. If someone comes along and offers him higher wages and more than 1 year, say 2-3 years, he's not going to stay, is he? So I do see the advantage of him staying because he has been integral to the top four push over the last 10 games. The role he's played in this team, I don't think anyone else at the club could have played. He didn't sulk. He's very professional. He captains the team really well. He plays in that sort of diamond in the build-up where we have Partey at the base, the two number 8s on either side, and he's at the top of that diamond, holding the ball up, taking the two centre-halves out, creating space in behind for our two wide players to make runs from out to in. He's 9 assists, something like 7 to 9 assists now. He's not scoring goals, but he's assisting. His goal contributions, over 200 goal contributions for Arsenal. I think he's been really good in this run towards the top four, and we should credit him for that. People say, oh, he's not good enough, he can't do this, he can't score goals. That is the way you judge a striker. I agree. So, and we do need an upgrade because next year we're going to need a striker to score 20, 25 goals if we're going to be challenging, if we get into Europe and we want to go to the next phase of the evolution under Arteta, we do need that. But there would be a role for him in the group if he's willing to accept it. I don't think he's willing to accept, Amanda, playing sort of backup and possibly on a reduced wages, because he's on massive wages, isn't he? He's on something like 180k a week, isn't he? He's on the same wages as Salah. Do you know that? It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's amazing, so, but I still feel he's worth the year. I know what you're saying.
He's worth a year. Amanda, he's definitely worth a year. It's just a question where it's just a question where he's willing to accept that, isn't it? And what offers come in for him? Yeah.
Rubin Manlam, thank you so much for your question. We're getting a bit about this. Yes, Melvin, I agree with you. If we keep Laka, he shouldn't be first choice. We're not saying that. We just want him as backup. Absolutely. Pat Moyles, Laka has been a good player for the club, but no more sentimentality. Time for pastures new. I get that, but I just feel as backup, if he would do it for a year, I don't have any issue with it. Good afternoon, Gooners. So, Fatality DMB, welcome back to the show. And Ray K says, Laka is a granddad, we need to upgrade. And we totally agree. We're not granddad, but we do need to upgrade. And we need to upgrade in a couple of areas in the summer and everything. Right. So we get to the last 5 minutes. I don't know how anyone else copes. It must be me or getting old. I'm 53 this summer. I've been through this since I was 4 years old. All this stress. All I wanted was just another goal so you can go and enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Just go and enjoy the game. And I have to tell you, something that me and my other half did today that we've never done before, because we were watching it on a delayed stream, we were like a minute behind. And when the free kick was being taken, the game had finished. Yeah. So we literally went on Twitter just to see. So we literally, the only part of that game we enjoyed was the free kick, because we knew Leno had saved it. And then the whistle went. I said that would be the last kick of the game. That, you know, that absolutely was. It was stupid for Pepe to do it, and it's only Arsenal, isn't it, then do it. Okay, so let's get a few of the questions. Thanks, Richard, again for your question. Can we talk about Leno's stay? Brilliant. And the way the players celebrated with him at the end shows how popular he is. And also, Richard, shows that, you know, he saved us from losing 2 points. There is that massive thing. The team spirit's amazing, isn't it, Paul?
It's unreal. I haven't seen anything like this around Arsenal, arguably, since the Invincibles.
Yeah.
Arguably, I can't remember a team that's been as together as they are now. And it's completely agree with Richard's comment now. I thought Leno is superb. He didn't have a great deal to do, but the cross that he came for and ended up going straight over the top of Partey and landing awkwardly, I thought that was, he was brave to do that. And then obviously kept out the free kick right at the end. But I thought what he did today was brilliant. And I would love to see him stick around. I really would, because every club needs 2 good goalkeepers. I just don't know whether he would want to do that. And that's the problem. My thoughts are that he'll probably look for a new challenge come the end of the season, but I would love to see him stick around. But yeah, I thought he was brilliant today. And I saw the celebrations just before I joined this. And yeah, it's superb, isn't it? They're all together in this conquest to try and steal this 4th place, and I think we're all in it with them, aren't we? And it's brilliant.
The team spirit,
yeah,
the team spirit's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Graham, you and Leno, what do you think?
It was interesting today, wasn't it? Because you had Martinez in goal for Aston Villa and Leno in goal for Arsenal, and both are likely to be ex-Arsenal goalkeepers. Martinez already is, and Leno's likely to be next season. So that was interesting contrast, I thought, today. His performance today, look, as he made that brilliant catch from that cross when he came and got it. I thought he was steady. The only thing that let him down, I thought, in the second half was when we couldn't play out from the back, because what they quickly did was we were able to play out quite comfortably from the back. And the moment they put an extra man forward to stop us from passing out, he had to almost like kick long, and he was like not finding, like Ramsdale's like brilliant the way Ramsdale was like a midfield player. He can drill a ball through to Martinelli, or he can find the player with a pass. His distribution is top quality, whereas that's the side of Leno's game that's not. And I can remember when he came to the club and Petr Cech was even worse at it than him. I can remember that opening game against Man City where Petr Cech nearly passed the ball into his own net. So when Leno came along, we thought, God, we've finally got someone who can pass it out. When we looked at it generally, he's not at top quality at doing it. And Ramsdale's shown what a difference a goalkeeper can do that makes. But for all that, I think that he is still, German number 2, Amanda. I think he's German number 2 behind Manuel Neuer. So you've got a World Cup coming up this year. So he's under contract, but he stayed with us at the end of the season. He would have been probably disappointed in the fact that he's lost his place to Ramsdale, because it's almost like a World Cup year. So probably he would have liked to have gone, but he stayed. But he knows, I think, that Ramsdale now is not only the number 1, he's the fans' favourite, but Leno is a great professional. And when he's come in, he's not let the team down. And I think now he's going to play a role now, because I think Ramsdale's going to be out for a few weeks, judging by the reports I read today. So, albeit we're into an international break, Amanda, I think he's going to get a few more games. His shot his shot stopping is still top quality, Amanda. But
Yeah, no, I agree. He did one kick out today, and it was fantastic. Straight to, I don't know who it was. It was a beautiful. I don't have a major issue with Leno. It's just that we've loved Ramsdale. You know, that's it. We all love Ramsdale. But I agree. Thanks, Theo Samuels. Leno's save was immense. It was. Absolutely. And that's why they all jumped on him and went mental. Right. So during the podcast, our boy Bakayo has come out and said, that's a very big win. It means so much. Champions League is the goal, but we have to stay humble. About his heavy treatment from Villa, my ankle is a bit bloody, but I'll be going again in the next game. It's part of my game. So I'll be doing it again next time. Saka on his conversation with the ref at halftime. This is interesting. I wasn't complaining, but I wanted to let him know that it is my game. I'm going to run at players. Sometimes I need a bit more protection when the opposition is trying to kick me. So he, you know, do you know what? His intelligence is way above his years, isn't it? The fact that he had a conversation with the ref and said to him, you need to protect me a little bit more. What a player, honestly. Okay, so I wanted to bring this up as well. Arteta's come out and said a few things. I thought our away support is fantastic. I love going to away games. I haven't been to many this season. I went to the Etihad at the beginning, but I wasn't with the away fans. But when I am, I just love it so much. And this is what Arteta has come out and said. Arteta and Arsenal fans singing his name. This is why it gives probably sense to everything we do. If we can make them happy, everything makes sense. Personally, it feels great. Arteta on Saka, he was really fatigued. He's played a lot of minutes. He needs to go with England, and the best thing was to take him off. So that is lovely of Arteta to consider England now. Moving on to that. We've got, 2 weeks and 2 days, is it, till Crystal Palace? Let me tell you, I've been to Crystal Palace away many times. I don't think I need to tell you both how tough that is going to be. So, Paul, moving on to that, just before, we go on to a few other things. We've got, I think, I've lost count, 11 more games or 10. I don't know. Can someone tell me if it's 11 or 10 more games?
I think it's 10.
Oh, it's 10. Yeah,
But today
10.
was the 11th because I know I was counting the cup. Yeah, of course it is. It's 10 more games to go. Okay. You know that we all know what the TV companies are going to do. They're going to announce Spurs in the last week. It's going to be a midweek game. It's going to be under the lights at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, and probably the game for us, either club, because I can see Tottenham continuing winning now, to hit top 4. Do you think with 10 games to go, I'm not going to ask you if we've got a chance because obviously we have. Do you think we're going to do it?
I'm kind of hoping that they leave that Tottenham game for as long as they possibly can, if I'm honest, because I'm hoping that
they'll want it for the TV. Trust me, Paul, on that.
Well, I'm hoping that in that case, I'm hoping top 4 will be done by then. If they don't schedule it for the next 5-6 weeks, I'm hoping we'll be all right and we'll be home safe. But I think 3 of the next 4 games are all away, aren't they? We've got Southampton away, Palace away. Brighton at home, obviously in between somewhere there, and so I mean Palace and Southampton are going to be 2 really tough away games. But in answer to your question, I think we will. I think today was huge because we've all seen when we've lost games previously, and losing one game in the past has maybe turned into 3 or 4 bad results. But to come off the back of Liverpool. Playing well, yes, but we lost the game. But bouncing back and playing the way that we did today against a decent Villa side that have picked up some really good results recently, I think that's a huge confidence boost to everybody. And given the changes that we had to make in the team as well, I think that will give them a really good bounce going into the international break. And as long as everybody comes back fit and well and raring to go again, then I think we've got enough to carry on and get it. I think we can.
Your answer is
yes. Yes. Come on.
Okay. So Ray K, thank you for your question. How many points do you guys think we will need to get to top 4? Paul, answer that, then I'll give Graham another question.
So what we got 10 games, that's 30 points. I reckon you got to be looking at 20 points, didn't you? At least,
yeah,
I think.
That's what I was thinking.
I think you got to be we probably will lose a couple. I imagine we'll probably lose to Chelsea away. Well, depends on what happens with Chelsea, of course. But yeah, I would say 20 points between now and the end of the season should be enough to get us top 4.
Okay, before I move on to the question, thanks, Ray K. I've got Arteta on Ramsdale. He wasn't comfortable in the last 50 to 60 minutes against Liverpool. He had a proper injury, but he wanted to be here to support Bernd. That tells you a lot of the things that are happening behind the scene. That makes my heart melt.
Love that.
That shows me about the team spirit, Graham. And that's something, isn't it, that we completely lost for a long period of time, was the team spirit. Look at it now. He's coming to support another goalkeeper when he's injured.
Yeah, it's fantastic, isn't it? Well, we've talked already about the togetherness in the group. Also, you talked about the away fans. I think the fans in general, the togetherness in the stadium, even at the Emirates, is as good as I've ever known it, Amanda. So there's a real bond at the moment between the players and the fans. And I think there's a real togetherness in this group. It is a small group because we have got out a lot of the dead wood, the players he wanted to get rid of. So it has become a tighter, sort of smaller group. In answer to your question, I'm looking at the league table. We've got 54 points from 28 games.
Yeah.
We've got 4 more points than Man United, having played a game less. And we've got 6 more points than Tottenham, and we're on the same games. So there is a bit of cushion between us and Spurs at the moment. But looking at those next 4 or 5 games, and there are a lot of away games coming up. We've got, I think, Crystal Palace away. Then we play Brighton at home, which is probably the easiest fixture on paper there. Then we play Southampton away, and then we got Chelsea away, and then Man United at home. So, and that's what Mikel was moaning about in the week, wasn't he? Those 2 games are so close together. But I do think for all that, if you'd said to me, start of the season, if you'd said to me after the Man City game that we'll be in 4th place with 54 points in 28 games, I wouldn't have believed you. So that just shows you how well we've done. Now, I put some stats together. I do that Tactical Insights show with James on AFTV.
Yeah.
So we looked at the last 49 Arsenal games. We average just under 2 points a game. So if we were, and that's been replicated since that game at Stamford Bridge. When Smith Rowe played at number 10 and we won 3-1. That was the start when Mikel went to the formation and the change in the way we play with the number 10 between the lines. Yeah. So we've taken on average just under 2 points per game. So that will give you 74 points. Now, last year, 4th place got into the Champions League with 64 points. It was a low return last year. But I think we need between 71 and 74 points this year because the other teams have got more points this year than they did last year. So, but I do agree with Dorsey there. I think that 71, 74 will definitely be the number we need. And I think there is the togetherness in the group. I agree with FT Music TK. It is unbelievable. And the manager has to take enormous credit because he was under real pressure.
Just stop there. Stop there, Graham. There is a reason for this. I was just going on to Arteta because I'm going to read you what Steven Gerrard has just said about him. That is just perfect how you did that. Gerrard, you've got to give people at Arsenal credit for supporting him, backing him and giving him the time to stamp his identity. Defensively, they've improved. Set piece wise, they've improved. Credit to the coach and his coaching staff. Now, I was just about to come into this, and Mikel Arteta has come out and said on Arsenal's top 4 chances, we are there at the moment and we will give everything to be there at the end. Now, Graham, there were many, not including myself. I don't know. I can't remember your 2 views on Arteta. I've supported him since day one. I've supported him. I could see what he was trying to do. I wanted him at the club. I wanted him to be given time. Time is something that a lot of fans don't want to give anymore. But unfortunately, with our club, you have to. There was too much to rebuild. How do you feel about Arteta now? And what was your thoughts? Listen, Graham, I was at the Etihad. I walked out and I looked at my other half and I went, we'd be lucky to stay up at this rate. We were absolutely flaming awful. We had Brentford, we had Chelsea, we lost 3 games, straight losses. To do what we've done now, to put us in this position, to actually have a chance of going for top 4 when all of us were praying, weren't we? Praying for Europa League, and now we're in this position. So What's your view on Arteta now, as it stands in March?
Right. Well, obviously, my view on Arteta at the moment is he's doing an absolutely unbelievable job, and we're seeing just how good he is. Look, what he's done to the team this year, the way he's turned this around, is been. You only have to look at the evidence, the return of the points, but the evidence on the pitch, the way we're playing. This is the way he wants the team to play, and so you have to give him enormous credit for the way he's turned it around.
Yeah.
I'll be absolutely honest with you, Amanda. I did not want him when we first got him, and that's no criticism of him or slant him in any way. I just think a club as big as Arsenal Football Club should not be taking a chance on an untried manager. That was my view at the time, and I think Ancelotti was available around that time. That would have been my choice. But for all that, he came in. He won me over when we won the FA Cup. So and the things he said. Then I thought, going into the not this last season, there was clearly we were struggling under him. He was under enormous pressure because no matter how much. And it's interesting Gerrard said that. I would say that Gerrard's saying that, probably looking at his own position at Villa, saying, I need time to turn this club around as much as anything. But yeah, it could be. Yeah, but I think that he was, no matter how much potential you got, no matter how much you are good as a coach, if you're not getting results on the football pitch, that determines your future as a manager. So he was under enormous pressure. But the one thing he's got tremendous self-belief. And I think the club have stuck by him. It could be a case that, we've got not only have we got young players, but we've got the whole club now has been sort of run by inexperienced people from the top downwards. So he is highly regarded because he's probably one of the most knowledgeable guys on football in the club. So he's, and the fact they made him manager from coach last year showed us what he thought about him. But for all that, he had to do it on the pitch. Now what he's done was he's stripped out the players he wanted to get rid of. He's got the style of play he wants to play. He's slowly but surely getting the players he wants to play that style of play. So, and you have to say, give him enormous credit because he's now, not only are we good in the way we build up, the way we press is getting better, but we defend so much better now. We haven't conceded a goal this season from a corner. Something like 120 odd corners, we haven't conceded a corner. I know it's a set piece coach who takes credit for that, but Arteta's the one who recruited him. So, but also the organisation now, out of possession, the way we drop into a 4-4-2, every player knows his role defensively. We are hard to play through now, and we defend the balls when they come into the box. Now, that is what he's given to the club. I didn't see that previously. Even under Wenger towards the end, we didn't defend balls into our box very well. So I think, what do I think at the moment? He's literally now becoming a top-class manager, isn't he? But for all that, he needs to deliver trophies.
Yeah, of course.
And also, he hasn't done anything yet. I will add that, as he hasn't got us top four yet. And he needs to deliver trophies for the club, and he needs to take us to that next level. But I'm confident, the way I'm looking at the evolution under him, that I'm seeing us moving in that direction. And so I would say enormous credit for him for that. And I think that's a great point that Gerrard makes. If you do sometimes you think you've got the right guy, you give him time, you allow him to strip out the players he needs out of your squad and bring in the players he needs. Because remember, we can't do what Man City and Chelsea do. It has to be we haven't got unlimited funds. We are a self-sustaining model, so he has to be what he buys. He has to sort of like be careful who he brings in. It has to be, but what he did at the start of the season. He chose to rebuild from the back. He got the back sorted out straight away. We had the back sorted out. He had two quality young players. That's what he had the advantage of, Saka and Smith Rowe. And slowly but surely, he made a great decision in bringing Martin Odegaard back. Now, I was one of those guys, Amanda, who was saying, I want Maddison in our team this year. And I've been proved wrong because Odegaard has been one of our players of the season. So, look, so for all that, I think that he's now starting to really sort of like get the credit he deserves for what he's doing for the club. He's still, obviously, we have to say, he's won an FA Cup, but he hasn't delivered Champions League football yet. And I think go on.
Sorry, Graham. I was gonna put you correct because he has won the FA Cup because you said
no, I said he's won the FA Cup. Sorry, he's won the FA Cup.
Yeah,
he's won
I know
the
what
FA
you're
Cup.
saying. He's got to deliver, but the thing is, he is delivering at the moment. We are improving, and that's what we asked. And it's interesting. Stephanie Goldstein, who is my Gooner girl in the East Stand Upper, hi Steph. With Arteta, it shows clubs need to give managers time and patience to do their job. Sacking managers after a few bad results is never a good thing. And I want to say something as well. I'm friends with a lot of rival fans of different teams. They all say to me, wish we had Arteta. Many of them that are struggling at the moment. And I think going on to this poll is that I think Do you think some of the fans now are going to start appreciating him a little bit more?
Well, they should do. Whether they will or not is a different matter. But I'm in the same category as you, Amanda. I've supported him from the very first interview he gave. He won me over just from his idea and his vision and what he knew already, even just from looking from the outside in, what needed to be changed within the club. And obviously we had that awful run, didn't we, about 18 months ago, where we lost 8 out of 10 games or whatever it was. And it was a shocking run of form. And even through that, I thought we need to stick with him. And to be honest, yes, it's a small squad, but he's now got the foundation of his squad. This is the squad now that we are going to build on. And it's no coincidence, really, that now we start to see the results. I don't think, anyway. But I think even from what he's done on the pitch, I think more importantly what he's done off it, bringing the culture back to the club. A lot of people talk about the traditions and the culture of Arsenal Football Club, and I think he's brought a lot of that back. And I think that's something that's been missing for a very, very long time. So I think that is just as important as anything else. But I can't speak highly enough of him. I think what he's done at the club, with all the challenges he's faced as well, with the pandemic and the amount of, people forget about that we had all of that. And you imagine going into that as your first job and having that to deal with, as well as all of the other issues that we had at the football club. And I think it's really nice now that you're seeing. There was a video, I can't remember whether it's the Liverpool game or the game before, but the fans, as he left the stadium, they stopped his car and were singing Mikel Arteta, blah, blah. And it's so nice to see that. And I think everybody is now starting to realise what he can do and what he can bring to this football club. And I've said it countless times on Rich's channel. Give him time and he will get it right. And fingers crossed, that's what's happening now. But obviously, as Graham was saying, we haven't achieved anything yet. If we get to the end of the season and we get top 4, it's huge, because I think the goal this year would have been top 6. Probably. Let's get European football. We build on that and then go to top 4 the following year. But if we can bring that process forward, I hate the word process, but if we can bring it forward by a year and go straight into Champions League, that's huge. And we can really start to build on this brilliant squad that we've got. And it's the difference between us and Liverpool from Wednesday night. That clinical striker up front. That's what we missed. And if we can get that, who knows where we can go.
And also what Melvin Marks has said. Thank you, Melvin, for all your contributions and watching. We now play as a team with every player on the ball having an option or two who to give the ball to. See, Graham, that's all we've ever wanted, isn't it, really? We just wanted options. And the fact that we are winning games, to be honest, I felt we would lose against Liverpool. I didn't really give us much hope. I went for a 2-2, but I think that was just out of pure trying to be a bit more positive. I didn't think we'd win today. I thought we'd get a draw. So he's proved me wrong again. The team they've come out, they've shown us, from a loss. That was the most important. I was talking to my work colleagues yesterday, and this is exactly what I said. If we lose tomorrow, which was today, I don't think we'd get top 4, because I think we'd start to have that doubt and fear. If we win today, we'll get top 4. I'm actually sticking my neck out now, which I probably shouldn't do, and say I think we will get it. It just gives us what he's done to this team has given them confidence, isn't it, Graham?
He's given them confidence of the way he set the team up, the way we play. I think Melvin's absolutely spot on there, what he says. But I think what he's done is there's a confidence on the pitch. Everybody, if you look at it, when everyone gets... Do you remember when we used to go to the Emirates a few years ago, even under Emery, when we used to try and play out, everyone was incredibly nervous when someone was on the ball in our half of the pitch, in our defensive third. Whenever we get the ball now, nobody's nervous now. When these players have the ball in defensive positions, nobody's screaming, get it up the pitch, like they used to when you're in a stadium. People like the style of play, and the confidence the players have got comes from the confidence he's got in them as players. So they all are very confident. And also he's built partnerships in this team, Amanda, right across the pitch. On the left-hand side, you've got like Saka, you've got Odegaard on that right-hand side, and Cedric, almost like at the moment, the 3 on that side. combining. You've got the left-hand side, you've got sort of like Xhaka playing up high, Martinelli or Smith-Rowe knowing that role out wide, and Tierney offering support when he comes up. The partnership in the middle of the defence, which was key, I think, getting a really solid centre-half partnership. He's got that now with Gabriel and White. So he's built sort of platforms in this team for players to be what they've become. They've got the confidence now to play. He encourages them to get the ball down and play it on the deck, to play it around nice little triangles, nice little 1-2s. And that comes from, I think, the manager building a style of play and getting players confident enough to be able to play it, working on it. And there are, as Melvin said, there's always an option for someone off the ball. There's always someone making himself available. And I think I want to give a big shout out for Thomas Partey, because the role that he plays at the back of that team at number 6, the technical ability he's got, the physical presence he's got, the ground he covers, and just the things he does to keep us ticking over when he gets the ball, the little shoulder feint or the little body move where he gets space for himself and time to make the right pass. All the ingredients in this team are perfect at the moment. And the only thing we saw today that stopped us from probably getting the result we deserved was that we haven't yet got that clinical striker who can put the ball in the net. Once we get that on top of what we got, I think we're going to go to the next level. So, but that is incredible down to Arteta, the way he's got this team playing in this way. Everyone knows their job. Everyone's confident. And the confidence in the group, he said in the dressing room after Liverpool, everyone was disappointed because everyone knew how well they played. But they picked themselves up today, 12:30 kickoff, and took that confidence out there. Didn't let a defeat set them back, and played a really top-class performance in that first half. Villa weren't in the game at all. We should have been 3 up by half-time. But when we need to defend, we can defend as well. So it's almost like the complete team, Amanda, and that is a credit to Arteta.
It really, really is. And Karoom Huey, Partey is like a real monster. Partey is the man he is fit. I totally agree. Lately, he's given us what we expected when he first joined, isn't he?
Mm. Yeah, he has. Yeah, I think he's been phenomenal since the turn of the year. I know he was a bit harsh on himself before. I think it was before Christmas when he rated himself a 4 out of 10 so far. I thought that was maybe a little bit harsh on himself. But yeah, I mean, since the turn of the year, he's turned into the player that we thought we were getting, hasn't he? I think he's been absolutely phenomenal. But I also think Xhaka's been really good with him. I think between the two, they've built up a really, really strong partnership. And I know Xhaka's got his critics, and rightly so in some cases, but I think between them, I think they've both been superb since the turn of the year. But Partey looks, dare I say it, certainly the closest to Vieira that we've had since Vieira. I think he's been phenomenal.
Some of his touches are sublime. Okay, so I don't normally do this, and everyone that knows me full well, I don't discuss transfers. I don't do transfer shows. I hate the transfer window, and I only talk about a player when he's signed. I'm not interested in discussing it, but because I'm feeling generous today, I'm going to let someone ask you two a question. Richard Mewett, so what striker do Arsenal sign in the summer? And a few people in the chat room have been asking this, and I've been ignoring it. But Paul, if you could have your choice, or who do you think would suit us and would come to us?
It's a big question because it just depends on obviously Mikel looks for a certain criteria, doesn't he? He looks for certain age groups. I've been a big fan of Calvert-Lewin, but the thing that puts me off with him is, one, the price tag, because he's English. You're always going to pay a little bit more. Yeah. And two, obviously, his injury problems that he's had with this season. I don't know how many games he's played this season, but it's probably, I'd be surprised if it's more than 10. I would have liked Vlahovic, I must admit. I would have liked to have got him. He obviously wasn't interested in coming to Arsenal, so we missed out on him. Ollie Watkins has been mentioned, but from what we saw today, I don't think he's good enough. At all, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
Can't think of any more names off the top of my head, if I'm being honest. But Calvert-Lewin is one that I think people have mentioned. Ivan Toney as well, which might be a good shout, because I think he's got the ability to go to another level. And I like what I see of him, certainly in the early stages of the season with Brighton. I thought he looked really sharp. So he could be one that might fit the criteria, but
okay.
Who knows?
Well, it depends what type of profile striker Mikel wants. So I don't know. They look at numbers, don't they? That's another thing they look at. we've been heavily linked with Isaac and David. The one I like actually is the guy who played up front for Benfica, Nunes.
Yeah.
I think that he looks a good player, a really top player. But if you want a physical number 9, I agree with Dorsey again. I think that Calvert-Lewin is probably the one who fits the profile, but he's injury prone. He's hardly played over the last year. Are we going to take a risk like that? Pay that sort of money? I don't think we will. I don't think they'll go for Tony. I think it's a case, we just need a top quality striker, whether it be the physical one to play that number 9 role that Lacazette plays. Because I think forwards now, I think he wants a forward who can be mobile, someone who can not only build up, but someone who can move across the front line and run in behind. He's looking for a combination of a Lacazette and Aubameyang type striker. So I think that for me, Nunes is the one that's the Benfica lad. He's the one who has impressed me, who I've watched lately. He scored in the Champions League at Ajax in a week. I think that Isaac links persist, don't they? I wonder whether he's on the shopping list. And remember, they did try and activate his release clause. So, of course, we've been linked now with people almost like false nines, like Joe Felix and even like Canabry coming back. So there's so many players we've been linked with. It's hard to know who really Mikel wants. But one thing we know we need someone who can score 20 goals a season. And I think that's the numbers that he'll be looking at strongly.
This made me laugh, though. I'm going to end on this comment. FT Music TV. Whatever striker Arteta and Edu choose, I'm fine with. Most would probably write them off anyway. It's so true, isn't it? Until they put that shirt on, I always say, don't judge them. Yeah. Boys, over an hour and 10 minutes. What a show. How amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. Before I let you go, there's just a couple of things that I want to say. I want to give a big shout out to Jack, my little friend in New Hampshire in America, who will be watching this show with his dad. Hi, Jack. Hi, little Jack. And we won again. So you are definitely bringing us good luck. Also, I want to give a little shout out to Aguna. So please take note of this. Abel Tom 5. He's running his local half marathon to try and raise money to help a non-profit organisation that offers support and raises awareness for mental health, addiction, depression and recovery. And it's for Mind, Body, Soul UK. I follow them. I follow him now. I'm really, my heart goes out to everybody that struggles with anything. I know full well I do struggle with anxiety. I've got plenty of family members and friends. I think everyone's got something. Always be kind. Absolutely always be kind if you can. And something that is quite close to my heart is this. So if anyone can just donate a few pennies, it's at Abel Tom 5. He's a proper gooner and he's running a half marathon for this lovely charity. I said I'd do a little shout out for him. Also, if you wouldn't mind pressing like, if you have enjoyed the show. I've loved the show. You two have just been absolutely brilliant. Paul, you are definitely going to have to come back. Thank you so much for joining me.
No problem. No, I know we've been speaking for a little while about me coming on. So, it was good to finally get on. So I appreciate you having me on. And
absolutely.
Nice to meet Graham and really enjoyed the show. It's always nice when we win, isn't it? It's always nice. We're in a bit of run of form. Yeah. It's always a lot more enjoyable.
I'm dreading doing a post-game show when we've lost. I remember being a guest on many of post-game shows when we lost. And I was, you just don't want to go on and talk about it. I just don't want to. I want to sit and I want to sit in my own misery and moan in my head and then move on and stuff. But Paul, tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
Yeah, just over on Twitter, you can see my handle there. So at Dorsey2801. So pop over and drop a follow and say hello.
Proper gooner. And Graham, what can I say? I absolutely love having you on the show. I actually could just listen to you the whole show. I just find all your stats. I really get bored with stats and stuff, but when I listen to you, I just don't get bored. It's just fantastic.
That's very kind of you to say, Amanda. Look, first of all, you need to keep doing this post-game show, don't you? Well, you're our lucky charm, So
3 out of 3.
But look, it's been great meeting Dorsey, Paul today. Nice to meet you, mate. And look, I've really enjoyed it. It's gone by 70 minutes, really flew by. It's great when you get it on the back of a win. People can find me on Twitter or Instagram at GrahamB195. GrahamB195. I follow back all Gunners. And look, Amanda, it's a pleasure to be on your show. You do it so well, and really love having you on Same Old Arsenal. And look, just keep doing it. And have Dorsey on again because he's been really good today.
Thanks, guys.
Graham, I do a lot of shows, I'm guests on lots of shows, and I often go on shows and I'm with people I've never met before, maybe spoken to them on Twitter. And I was on a show with Paul, and I just sat there like I do with you, and I just think he's great. And I want just general normal fans on this show. Yes, I have, I do get different guests and some are celebrity and whatever, but generally this show is for the fans. I want everyone in the chat to ask us questions. And Curved Glass 123, is this a new channel? The Same Old Arsenal's not a new channel, but this is a new show called the Always Arsenal Show. And yes, it's only been a couple of months, and I am enjoying it. I get so nervous before and after, but I am. And I want to thank everyone in the chat. Please press like on the way out. Now, next week, okay, so I didn't do a show last week because I wanted to do a post-game one. So this next week, obviously, we've got international breaks. I'm still going to be doing one show a week. Next Thursday night at 8:30, I've got James McNicholas, also known as Gunner Blog, joining. And I am yes, I know.
Yeah, top man. He's top man.
I'm so honoured that he's actually said he'd come on my little show. So it's just me and him chatting about Arsenal. So please come and join us 8:30 next Thursday night. If you can't, no worries. You can always watch it and catch up. Craig will be back Monday night with his normal foursome. Tuesday night, he'll have 4 Men and a Mic, which I was on last week, and that was really, really good. I really enjoyed just being a guest. It was so nice. Thank you, everyone. Listen, we're fourth. All we can say is up the irons for tomorrow, because that is so important. As long as they don't lose, West Ham, we're all West Ham fans tomorrow afternoon. Have a wonderful Saturday afternoon. Keep safe. Be well. Always Arsenal. Always Arsenal. Thank you for joining me.